Okay, so the first thing we want to do is unlock our background layer by right-clicking on it and layer from background. And then I like to use the quick selection tool. You can try using the magic wand. I find that it's just not as effective a tool. It's not as subtle a tool. It doesn't give you as many options as the quick selection tool does. I tend to use the quick selection tool in most cases for selecting something like this, at least for the first stage. So I'm going to come back out here and make sure my layer is selected. And then the size of the circle affects how much information it's going to take in. So I like to have a little smaller, maybe roughly about that size. And I'm just going to start painting. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to go yoink, like this, over the top, come down, and through here. And now, the quick selection tool is constantly taking in information. As you add to the quick selection and as you remove from it, it will remember what you've added and removed. And it will refine what it does and how it does it as you add that information to it. So you see the plus sign right now in the middle of that circle? It means I'm adding to my selection. I want to subtract some things from it now because I kind of overdid it, right? If I hold down the Alt key, do you see how it changes to a minus sign? It lets me get rid of some things. So I'm going to kind of paint out his hoodie here. It picked it up because it's a darker color. It was similar to the forest. So I'm going to paint out the hoodie here. And come up here and paint out some of the hair around the edge here. Paint out the hoodie again. And now I'm going to get in a little closer now that I've done some of that refining. Make this a little smaller. And I'm going to paint back in the forest. You see how it's getting subtler now? It seems like it knows what it's doing. Minus, get rid of this hoodie here. Bring back in the forest. Yeah, I know, the face is not a pleasant one. I'm very sorry. Alright, bring around the hair. Come up this way. Come over here. Paint in that. Get the hair back out. Come on down. And there's a little more woods over here. Clean up my edge. And I feel pretty good about that. Now, to make sure that my selection looks the way I want to switch over to quick mask mode. That's this square with a dotted line circle in the center right down here at the bottom. If you can't see that because you can't see all of your options, this button up here will switch you to two-column mode. Do you see that? That sometimes for your screens will show you things you couldn't see before and give you more options. So sometimes you might want to switch to that. Quick mask mode will highlight in red all the things that are not selected. And then you can paint. So you switch over to a paintbrush. Okay? And when you paint, you'll be painting red. And that's unselecting things. If you want to add to your selection, you have to switch the colors here by clicking on the little switch color button. Switch, and then you're painting away red. So you want to use those options like down here at this corner. I want to get real nice and fine with cleaning up this edge a little bit and coming down here and making that selection look better. And I want to add to his hair here a little bit more and just clean this up around the edges. Make that look a little bit better as well. And over here, not happy with how that edge came out, so we'll clean that up a little bit. And I feel like that's good enough for what we're doing right now. So we'll switch out of quick mask mode, and I want to add a feather to this effect. As I said before, with the camera, when it does this, it has a lot more subtlety to the blur. It can start the blur very gentle, closer to the camera, and make it more advanced as it goes farther away. We can't do that. What we can do is bring a feather in. How many of you have worked with feather effects on your selections before? Okay. The feather effect gives you a nice gentle edge to it. we have to be careful. You have to recognize what this number is up here. See this percentage? 193 means I'm zoomed in pretty far, which means it's a relatively small picture. When I right-click on my selection, and I go to feather, my options here are a number of pixels across which it's going to feather. Does that make sense? So the number of pixels I choose is based on how big the picture is. The bigger the picture, the more pixels I need to have the feather effect be visible. The feather effect is at the edge of the selection. It makes a gentle transition from effect to no effect, as opposed to just having a harsh line, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start with a very gentle feather effect of 3 pixels for now, because I know I have a small picture. I hit OK. And you might notice your edges kind of gentle up a little bit, and that's fine. Now we want to apply our blur effect. The blur effect that we want is under filter, under blur, and then there's lots of kinds of blur, depending upon why you're doing the blur. Anybody with an iPhone again? Raise your hand. The blur effect that the iPhone uses for when something's in front of something else, and you get that kind of like frosty pane look, is called a Gaussian blur. So you see Gaussian blur here. It's a certain type of blur. It's a very regimented blur. It's always the same. It always looks the same. That's why they use it. Well, is reality the same? Is life always the same and perfect? No. So that's why recently Photoshop added the option for a lens blur. A lens blur is specifically a blur that would have been created by the lens of a camera. What we want. Sounds like the right thing, doesn't it? To note, motion blur would be the type of blur you would add if you were adding a blur specifically because your camera was in motion, or you wanted to make it look like it was moving as it was following a subject. It's a slightly different effect, and you might want to use that sometimes. In this case, I'm not going to, but you can see he almost looks like he's moving, doesn't he? He almost looks like he's kind of jumping or doing something interesting. So there could be a time where motion blur would be interesting. We're going to do lens blur, though. And we get this panel here. It shows us a preview in the background and lots of options on the side here. Radius is the one that is most has the biggest effect on what's going to happen, and is the one you're going to change the most. So as you notice, as I move this up, you see what happens to my background? You have to decide how much of this you want and how much of that background you want to get rid of. I mean, he looks ridiculous, so it's not like this is really improving the picture that much, but you can see what's happening, and if you had taken a nice headshot, you can see how this would really take that background and make it into a nicer background, a nicer effect for the picture. So you can bring this up as high as you want, really. If you just want, a blurred, smeary color thing for the background, or if you really do want to be able to see that it's trees, but just have them be blurred enough that they're not distracting. I'm going to go up around 41 here. You can play with the shape. It'll give different effects to the blur. It's hard to describe what they're going to do till you try them. So just play with them and see if one looks the way you want it to or not. Each one will show up quickly enough here. You can kind of just test them out and see which one has the effect you want. I'm going to stick with the hexagon blur. The rest of these are not really things you should play with. You can. It's not going to hurt you to try. The brightness, specular highlights you can play with. That'll affect a little bit of the brightness aspects, but really, in this picture anyway, it's not making much of an effect. And noise, let's show you what noise does here. It brings in like a static effect to the background. Right. Now, a little bit of that, under the right circumstances, could be an effect you want. We're talking like no more than maybe 5 in this picture. You notice if I'm at about 5, that could almost be a good effect in the right picture. Don't overdo it. All of these things, I know JT, I keep looking at you because sometimes you overdo some of these things. All of these things can be very good with a very subtle hand. Too much is too much, almost always. So just be gentle with these things, okay? Now, you can always see what difference you're making quickly by unchecking this preview button up here, and it will show you what your original looked like. Did we improve it, would you say? Do you notice what I did to his poor hair? I chopped a bunch of it off. I didn't really do a very good job of refining my selection. I would expect better out of you. You've got more time. I had 10 minutes to show you this demonstration. So I would expect you to see this and go, oh crud, I have to do a better job of that. Hit cancel, switch to quick mask mode, and clean up your selection a little bit. Come back in and try it again. But I just want to show you so you can see how we got, where we got. And there we go. What do you think? Is he better? The face is still the face, right? Well, this is where you're going to come in once you learn some more things this week, and you're going to clean them up a little bit. You're going to get your spot healing tool. Then you're going to say, sorry, no more acne. Bye-bye acne. All right. And we're going to move his tooth over. What do I want to do here? Content aware move tool. That's this is gonna be janky and it's not gonna work the way I want it to, but I still gotta show you. All right. There we go. No more gap. That's not good enough? No? He still looks like a what? Hold on. No faith, you guys. No faith. I can fix it. You guys can see I could have fixed that up. Spend a little bit of time in here. You have 2 weeks. 5 pictures, 6 hours of video. I expect great things. Can you give me great things? All I can ask is that you try. Okay? Give me a better picture than this. All right?